Oh my gosh, that's so funny. We're talking about your breakfast in class yesterday.
We were.
Like lose their balance. Like,
Yeah.
they can't function on one side.
You
And
just
then
make you have that.
He wasn't doing, like, it lost her, he like, was so dizzy that he couldn't eat. We had to, like, force feed him, like a syringe, he was like, put it down his throat. But then we couldn't just like, if he wasn't gonna get better, we couldn't just keep force feeding him. But finally yesterday, he started like, he was acting more normal and he started eating like his normal food. And we're like, thank God.
Okay, everybody. So if you are confident and you know what you're doing and you just want to hit the ground running, go for it. I'm going to do maybe one of each type just to, I don't know, re-help you out. So for number one here, we have to find the value of the function of these different amounts. So we're just using the function that they give you here in number two. So if I wanted to find in part A, f of -4, I'm coming down here and I'm looking, all right, well, where does -4? So I'm not even looking at the left-hand side. I'm just looking right here first. -4 is only going to fit into one of these two. -4 is less than -3. It is not greater than or equal to -3. So I'm going to be using the top branch. So what do I do now that I've figured that out? I come over here and I'm going to plug in -4. -4 plus 3 is just 1. So the answer to number 1A is just -1. What's that? Do you want to try B? So you're going to take -3. You're just going to use this equation down here, number 2. I just wasn't able to write it up here. So you're going to take -3, figure out where you're plugging it in. So would it fit into the top or the bottom? Yeah, so now plug in -3 into -x minus 4 and see what comes out.
Top one, -1, -1 is less, is greater than -3.
Where are you?
For
This one?
A, yeah.
So -4 is less than -3, right? So I got to plug it in over here. So I'm doing -4 plus 3 got me that -1.
Sorry, I was
No, it's
doing
okay.
answer for X plus 3.
Yeah. All right. So do we have an answer for B then? You got to be careful. If that negative is still there, right? So you're going to plug negative. So it's -3. -1 ends up just so happens to also be the same answer as A was, but that's just by chance. Okay. All right. So that's how you do the top section. Let's do one of the graphs together. Does anybody have a preference for which graph I do?
Number 5.
5 on.
Wait, no, number 4.
Number 11.
4.
Wait, there's a back?
Yeah. Do number 11, 10.
I'm gonna do one graph.
Wait, why don't you do 1 with 2 and then 1 with 3?
Oh, fine.
Yay.
So let's do one on the front. So out of 2, 3,
4.
4, or 5. 4? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're looking at number 4. I'm gonna have a split happening at +2. So I come over to +2. I find my protractor. There it is. +2. I'm going to draw myself again. This line is not actually part of the graph at all. You don't have to do this, but it's a nice way to just see, hey, you're going to start and stop here. All right. So on the left-hand side, I'm going to graph -x plus 4, and on the right-hand side, I'm graphing the x minus 4. Okay. So for the -x plus 4, that's easy because this is the region that I normally graph in. So I start at +4. I follow that slope down 1 over 1. Now, when I hit this dotted line here, I got to ask myself, should this be a closed circle or an open circle? Closed is correct. And we know that because if I go back, it does exist at 2. So I put a closed circle. Then I'm just going to connect these dots, but making sure that I only draw it on the left-hand side of that divider that I drew in the beginning. So that top branch is now completely done. I'm finished with it. Now all I have to do is graph the bottom branch. So this one, the divide is not that far away from the origin, so it's not that bad to start at -4 and then just sort of trace your way over. So you could do that. If I were to start at -4, I'd be going up 1 over 1, but I don't draw it here because I can't start drawing the line until I pass my divide. So if I start here and I go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, oh, I've hit it. So there I'm going to put an open circle, and then I'm just going to continue on with my slope up 1 over 1. Alternatively, if you don't want to do that, or your divide is too far away from the origin and like you can't just trace your way, you can always take this number and plug it in and get a point on your line. So if I plug in 2, I'd get out -2. So I can start there and then just follow the slope of 1. All right, so when I go to connect these, oops, I keep flipping my protractor over. There we go. I make sure that I'm only graphing it on the right-hand side. Before I move away, I at least do the vertical line test because that takes 2 seconds. Make sure I don't have 2 closed dots. If I don't, my lines are not overlapping each other, everything is fine. If you are taking a test or a quiz and you really want to check this, plug in some points. When I plug in 0, I expect to get out 4. When I plug in 6, let's say, I should get out a 2. So I can
Plug it into that equation. Okay.
So you got to figure out, so if I wanted to know what f of 6 was, right? If I want to figure out, well, hey, what's the value of this function at 6? I go back and I got to figure, okay, 6 only fits into the bottom one. So I would only plug it in over here. 6 minus 4 is 2. So I should have the point 6 comma 2, and I do. All right. Okay, let's do one of the ones that has 2 splits. So does anybody have a preference between 6,
last one.
10, 11? 11
The
is
last
the one?
one's so easy.
Yeah, you don't want me to do that one.
Oh.
That one is, so
I guess the toughest one was probably 10 or 6. They both actually had, I guess 6 would be the toughest.
Yeah, do number
6,
6.
all
It's
right.
nasty.
It's not that bad.
So I have 2 splits here. One is at -2, one is at +4. So let me make those. 2, +4. Okie dokie. All the way over to the left, I'm graphing -x plus 2. In the middle, 2x minus 2. And then on the right, -x plus 2. Okay, perfect. So this is where it gets a little weird. When your divide is on the left-hand side of the y-axis, it feels really weird, right? But you're still kind of doing the same things, right? So I would normally start at 2. And I would normally go down 1 over 1, but I can't draw any of that in this middle section. But what you can do is you can kind of just figure out where your line would be and line up your protractor or your straight edge, whatever you're using, but only draw it over here. Don't connect all the lines, just connect, just do that. Just do that part over there. So I'm going to erase those dots that I made in the middle because I don't actually want them there. When it hits, that one should be open, right? So make sure it's open. Another quick check, right? Because sometimes kids always have the graphs going the wrong way. You know that it's a negative slope. You know a negative slope should be going down from left to right. So if I just glance at my graph, yeah, this should be going down, and it is. So I know at least, I mean, it doesn't guarantee me that it's right, but it's in the right ballpark. All right, now I'm going to graph the middle one. The middle one should be easy because that is the region that I normally graph in. So I'm going to start at -2, follow that slope up 2 over 1. Okay, when I hit on this side, I'm going to be open. When I hit on the left-hand side, I'm going to be closed, right? Yeah. So just connect those dots. one last piece. So I would normally start at 2 and go down 1 over 1. It's a little too far for me to sort of trace my way. You can, but it's too far. Let's just plug in 4. If you plug in 4, don't you get out a -2? You can start right there. Start at 4, -2. It's going to be a closed dot. And now just follow the slope, my friends. Down 1 over 1. Bingo, bango, it's done. And now you ask yourself, I do real quick, check my vertical lines, make sure I don't have any double closed dots, but I don't. Things are looking great. It's a masterpiece. I encourage you to use different colors if you have them. If you have colored pencils, you want to graph one in one color, one in another color. You want to do your divider line in a different color. Sometimes kids like to do the dividing line in a highlighter, so it's not like really part of the graph, but you can still see it. Whatever you want to do. I encourage color, so if you want to. I have a few, you can borrow some of my pens and pencils if you want them. All right, so go ahead, give this a shot. I'm gonna look right now if I have a key already. And if I don't, I'll make one as fast as I can. Yes, you sure can.
Get to this one, too.
Tell you what,
Or get to this one, too.
yes,
Is this our homework? Or is it-
I guess so.
Yeah, all of it?
I did it.
Yes, all of it.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
you guys.
Thanks,
I don't know, should we do more?
No, it's okay. This is
I feel like,
Honestly,
well, that's the discussion.
I think it should be.
Good.
I don't know if it's really enough though.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
fine.
it is. I'm not even done.
Yeah, I'm already
We've got almost a half hour left.
Well, I just think because a lot of people are still struggling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it should
true.
be-
All right. So let me, it doesn't look like I have a key. So give me like,
Me and Sam both got the same answers.
What?
Me and Sam have the same answers.
Good. Oh, you finished?
Yeah, me and Sam both. I did it.
Yeah,
while you
I
were
was
still
doing it while you were going.
Same.
but-
I just withdraw.
What did I do wrong?
I'll
Hey,
let
Missy,
me,
it's okay, because I was out yesterday, so
I'll
you know,
make my key
it
real
means I
quick.
watched your video and I understood
Well,
you
I'm so glad that you did. You did
So you
exactly
should
what
have
you're
one
supposed
viewer.
to.
more
Oh,
than you
yay.
normally do.
No, we'll see.
I all of a sudden got like this influx of subscribers and I didn't do anything.
Hit the
But all of a sudden I
notification
had like
bell.
way more than I did before.
The only thing that's weird, it's like, sometimes you can hear the classes questions and other times you can't, so it's like, I have no clue what they're talking about. And then you guys went off on this random rant, and I was just like
Yes.
sitting there, and I'm like, okay, can I skip through this, or like,
Yes,
is it
you can.
important? So,
Wait,
You
random
totally
rant.
can.
What was it about?
Wait,
The
this
ear
Savia,
infection probably.
this
I don't know, I
Savia,
skipped through
one
it.
of your videos
Until I
has
saw her pencil
7,000
moving
views.
again.
know. I'm like a
And another one has 6,000.
What?
She has 7,000 views on video.
Really? I haven't.
Yes, so how do you graph y equals negative?
Rating no one asked.
Oh.
But it's like also. I mean, it's real like.
Ooh, I lost this.
You know what these other reports will all make from?
That was my.
Just in this, just here though,
I should respond to anyone.
right? Because that one only exists when x is less than negative one. Yeah. That's it.
Some of these questions are so boring.
Confused on the
Right.
like.
Yes.
What do I even put for Macy's?
Whereas like this part is.
So then when I hit this side, it's gonna be closed side. This side. is-
Oh.
That's the part.
I don't know what that is at all.
I
Like I've been putting like inside jokes on them. But for Mason,
yeah. Draw Macy with headphones.
Well, that's probably gonna be their.
They're always listening.
What did you do that?
Or like I think they.
Yeah, they do it for that. They like, I think like check.
We didn't dance probably following Macy. It was Macy that did, like Finn.
I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, there's a-
Positive. Yes. Yes.
I need dance. Band.
Macy,
Right.
Macy Belair.
The line from suspension.
Normally, after I figure out how to.
Oh.
So you're graphing x minus 2 on this side.
Do you want the Instagram?
And so you start at -2,
Oh,
you have
yeah.
a positive one slip there. So starting at -2, you should be going up 1.
Well, that's really.
So this one, because you look right here, wherever x is less than or equal to 2, so that's this, so you only graph it this way.
Oh.
And now you're gonna graph this line on this side.
Tell me
Yep.
why.
And then you switch it.
There's Savia.
Guys,
Is that your line, y is negative? Does it?
Oh, I had my line, like, I saw it originally down, and then I saw it pretty actually on the other side, so it's just like, why did I do it wrong?
Can you walk me through that?
Yeah, so I like drew the line below.
Why?
I drew the line.
That's actually kind of
Is it that?
Oh, yeah, okay.
The dotted line. And then I went down to, right, like down
So
-2.
you're graphing this one?
Yeah.
We normally start at origin.
Yeah.
And then go down to, yeah,
Down to over 1.
yeah.
Do I always have to do that? Like if I was gonna go like graph the 3, would I go up 3 over 1?
No, if you're gonna do this one, maybe you start at 3 and then you flip this one at 1,
Yeah.
right? So you start at 3 and then you go up 1 to the right.
What's that?
So you'd start on this one.
Well, you know, you always start on the y-axis, but you only start drawing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sorry.
Does that make sense?
But why is this one like down 2 over 1?
Because the slope of that one is -2, right? So you're gonna draw a slope of -2. Down 2 to the right one, down 2 to the right one.
Okay.
Yeah, so you start at the origin and you go down 2 to the right one.
Oh,
But you're only gonna draw it on this side.
okay. That makes sense. What the fuck?
Yes, that's right, except you don't
Did you
want
see
it,
his Instagram?
like, only draw it up until you hit the stop.
Yeah.
So I get why you, I mean, you have it just to figure out where the line goes, but then you need to get rid of it. They're all black. Yep.
That one is fire.
That's me dead.
And then for this one, I can just draw a solid line.
Guys,
solid
I
circle.
literally wish that
What happens when, like,
Oh.
Kendra here today?
She's not.
No, I like actually I think she is. That's weird.
Yes. Oh, I still have the video going.
So I was thinking